Hi, this is Jack. This is going to be my bar-by-bar review of the S&P 500 E-mini contract for December 19th, 2024. Bar 1. Well, first, let me talk about the prior day. Yesterday was an FOMC announcement, and you can see that at the end of the day resulted in a gigantic sell-off. And on the daily chart, this is a bear bar with a small tail closing on its low. And for that reason, I expected a gap up or some attempt to rally here. And today on the open, we have a pretty big gap up and the volatility is pretty big. This bar, if I had to guess, is about 15 or 20 points big. It's actually 22 points big. So these are big bars and big risk. But it's a big gap open. We're gapping up about 50 or 60 points or maybe more. So it's a pretty big gap. For that reason, it's a bull breakout, but I expect that we're going to find selling pressure and disappointment up here. As with any open, probably better to wait for a few bars before you do anything. So bar 1 is a big bull bar. We tested the pivot point here, the high close and the high, and we rallied. We have a whole round number, 6,000. This is a big round number, and this is going to be an important price level. So let's see what kind of follow through we get. Bar 2 is nearly an outside down bar. It's a bear bar. And it looks like a tight trading range is going to form. We have a weak close and a prominent tail, and we're probably forming a tight trading range, a limit order market. Probably buyers below and sellers above, and better to wait for more information. Bar 3, we rallied and then sold off. We have a strong bear inside bar closing on its low. And for that reason, I suspect we're going to trigger the sell, and it's going to lead to a bear breakout to the downside. But since we're in a tight trading range inside of a triangle, I suspect that whatever breakout we get is going to be disappointing in some way. Deep pullback into bar 3 and then a sell-off, prominent tail, or small tail, and a small body on bar 4. Now we have 3 consecutive bars down, a 3-bar bear micro channel, but still lots of overlap and still inside of a tight trading range. We're moving away from the big round number, 6,000, and we're about 17 points below that number now. But we have another support level here, this pivot high, this swing high, and 59.80, a round number. If I had to guess, we're probably always in short, and whatever rally we get, the bulls who bought on 1 or 2 will probably use that rally to exit their losing positions with a smaller loss, or if they bought at the low of 2, probably to exit with a smaller loss, which might be what happened on bar 4 with this big tail. Bar 5, bear breakout, good follow through. Now we have 4 bars down, and this bar is closing on its low. It's a breakout bar, so we need follow through for the bears. It's a swing short. It's reasonable to sell the close with a stop above the bar or above the swing high. And if you did that, you're risking 30 points. And that's a lot of points to risk. So if it were me, I would sell the close with a stop above the bar, and I'd be quick to get out if there were disappointing follow-through. And 6 sure is disappointing follow-through. At this point, I would probably hold with my stop here and let the market stop me out. Odds are that's probably going to happen. We found buyers below bar 5 and bar 6. It's a bull bar, but it's not a particularly strong bar, and we're still inside of a micro channel, testing the top of the trend line and selling off into the close of the bar. We have a prominent tail here, and it's reasonable to get out of shorts above that bar, but I think whatever rally we get above this bar, we'll find sellers somewhere around the midpoint of the sell-off, maybe around here. The stop entry for the bulls did not trigger, and the short for the bears is still intact. But bar 6 may be enough to convert the market into a small, tight trading range, and therefore bar 7, although it's a strong bear breakout bar closing on its low, and it may get follow through and it may get a second leg down, I suspect the follow through to be disappointing in some way because the breakout on 5 was followed by disappointing follow through on 6. So 7 probably going lower, but probably disappointing follow through. And that's why we have bar 8. Bar 8 is a small bull reversal bar with a small tail. It's a doji bar. It could be 2 legs down in an overall trading range, 2 implied legs down, or maybe even 3 implied legs down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And now we're reversing up. It does appear that we have some sort of an overshoot happening here. If you just connect the lows of 5 and 7 and extend that line, we're breaking beyond that channel line and reversing up from below. So we could have a climactic reversal, but to me, I still think we're always in short, and I still think we're going lower, and whatever rally we get will probably be disappointing in some way. We tested the low close on 7, and then we rallied. We triggered the stop entry for the bulls, and it looks like the bulls were able to make 1 times the risk if they took this trade. And that tells you that there's something wrong with the bear trend here. And it's more likely that we're in some sort of a trading range rather than a bear trend, or we're in some sort of broad bear channel, which is similar to a trading range, just tilted downward. So bar 9, good for the bulls, but this bar looks climactic to me. We're closing above the high close on 6, but failing to close above bar 6 high and above bar 7's high. Excuse me. So I suspect we may go higher, but I also suspect disappointment. And bar 9 is the breakout bar, so we need follow through. And so far we don't have it. Bar 10 is a bear inside bar. It's a buy signal bar because it's closing above its midpoint, but I suspect there's going to be sellers above for a second leg down after this sell-off. We may find buyers down here, maybe inside of the gap between 10 and 8, but I suspect probably more down. And then we get bar 11. We attempted to rally to the high close on 9, and we didn't quite get there, and then we triggered the short under bar 10, and now we have a big bear bar closing near its low. Bar 11 is a bit climactic. It's similar to 9, where it could be a vacuum test of support and resistance. We're breaking below the low close on 7, and we didn't quite make it to the low of 7, and I suspect that this breakout is going to get a second leg down. Although because of the bad follow-through today and all of the overlap, I expect the follow-through to 11 to be disappointing in some way. Deep pullback beyond the midpoint of the bar, and then a breakout below 11, closing on its low. 12 is a bear bar, and I suspect we're going lower, but we have 2 implied legs down, and this is the second spike break leg down, and we rallied from the low of 8, so maybe there will be more profit taking and buyers down here. This may be more of a buy the close bar than a sell the close bar. I would never do that, but you have to be thinking that that could be the case. I suspect we'll go lower, but we may need to pull back first. Small pullback and then another breakout bar on 13, and small tail here tells me that the bears may be looking to take profits below this bar's low. It's good follow through for the bears. We have 4 consecutive bars down, and now it looks like a little bit more of a symmetrical leg 1, leg 2 move since the sell-off on 2. For that reason, we may have profit taking down here, and it looks like we're inside of a tight bear channel, channeling lower, and we need more follow-through. Bar 12 is a breakout bar with a big tail on the top of it, and bar 13 is also a breakout bar with a tail on the top and the bottom, and that means that the bears are not as strong as they could be. So bar 13, always in short and probably going lower, but we may need to pull back first. Pull back on bar 14, we found buyers below the low of 13, probably bears taking profits on their shorts and looking to sell higher, maybe around the midpoint of the sell-off, which would be about the high of this tail. Let me fix this so we can see the actual. If you measure down to the very low, we didn't quite get to the midpoint, and I suspect we'll get there, but if you measure from the high to the close, we also didn't get there. So bar 14, bad follow through for the bears and a bull bar, and that tells you that the bears are not as strong as they could be. We have 2 legs down at least, and we might be in a trading range or some sort of bear channel, and I think whatever bears are short may need to cover above this bar, and I suspect they'll look to sell again higher, maybe at this bad sell signal bar low or around the high close of 9. 9 was a reasonable buy the close bar for a failed bear breakout, but that failed, and because of that, any bulls that bought up here and are still long might be buying lower down here around 13 or 14 and look to get out at the midpoint of their buys. Let's say you buy the close of 14 after you bought the close on 9, you may look to get out at the midpoint around 59.70. 15, rallying and closing on 59.70. Prominent tail, it could be 2 implied legs up and a breakout test of the 7 close. So we need follow through, but so far disappointing for the bears. It's still a tight bear channel and we're still under a bear trend line, but we're starting to accumulate bigger bull bars. We have a big bull bar on 1, 9, and 15, and a small bull bar on 6, 8, and 14. So the bears need to do more to prove that we're in a strong bear trend. Another pullback and a rally on 16, maybe going higher, but now we have 2 or 3 implied legs up and we're getting close to the moving average and the bad sell signal bar low on 10. For that reason, we went outside, nearly outside down on 17. Prominent tail here. There may be buyers below, but a reasonable sell signal bar. It's a fairly big body. We tested the EMA and reversed down. We're still inside of the bull micro channel here, but we have a pretty good sell signal bar. Prominent tail, that tells you there may be buyers below, but I think the context is good enough to take the short entry. Bar 18, we found buyers below 17 and we reversed up. We have a strong bull reversal bar but a small tail up here, and we didn't quite make it to the high close on 16. And for that reason, this may be a sell the close bar rather than a buy the close bar. And that's what happened here on 19. Traders were disappointed with the bad follow through on 17 and realized that we need to use this rally on 18 to get out, and that created a big give up bar on bar 19. Bar 19 is the biggest bar of the day, at least from my eyes, and it's coming late in this bear sell-off, this bear trend. We could be forming a double bottom with 14, so we may find buyers down here. To me, this is a strong enough breakout for a pullback and a second leg down. I expect to find buyers down here, but I also expect lower prices. We have a small follow-through bar on 20, and for that reason, it's disappointing for the bears, and we're running the risk of making a double bottom here. We do have a slightly lower low here, so it's not a perfect double bottom, but if we start to rally, bears may look to cover above this bar because we're accumulating buying pressure, and so far, this bear trend has been somewhat disappointing. 21, we have an inside bar. This could be the final flag for the bears, and whatever breakout to the downside we get may lead to a failure. So 21, bull doji bar, and disappointing for the bears. Reasonable to get out of shorts above that bar. Okay, long above 21, but bad buy signal bar, so not ideal. 22, good entry bar for the bulls. It's a strong bull bar with a small tail, and I suspect we're going to go higher. And that led to 23. We have a climax bar on 23, and I suspect that this is the second leg up from 14, so now we have a completed two-legged pattern in an overall trading range. We could be forming a double top with either 17 or 9. We're breaking above the moving average, and we're closing above this swing high on 17, and that's good for the bulls. The only problem is this is a climactic bar, and this is becoming a breakout bar because it's closing above this swing high, and it needs follow-through. The follow-through is good. It's a bull bar. We have 4 consecutive bars up, but something's wrong with this rally. The biggest bar is the third bar, and all of the other bars have problems with it. They're smaller, they have tails, this is a doji bar, and this is a really small follow-through bar. So 24 might be disappointing enough for the bulls that whatever sell-off we get may turn into a give-up bar like we had on 19. It could still be a double top with a high close on 9, and if you're a bull and you bought this close, you may look to get out of your position on 24 if you bought more lower, or you just held through this like a moron, and that may create a give-up bar and a double top. Outside down 25, it's a bear bar, it's a doji bar, tail, so we may find buyers down here, but I suspect we're going to go lower. Outside up on 26, bit of a surprise, so it may need a second leg up, but big tail, and we have an expanding triangle. We could have an expanding triangle top and therefore find sellers above this bar. It looks like the double top is trying to fail, but we need follow through. And so far, 27, bear bar, inside bar, bad follow through. Reasonable signal bar for the short for a failed 2 legs up, but I suspect we're in an overall trading range. The high could be the high of 1 and the low could be the low of 20. So reasonable stop entry short, but in trading ranges, really not ideal. Prominent tail and lots of overlap up here. Looks like we barely broke out below 27 and turned up. We did not make it back to the high close on 26, and that's disappointing for the bulls. Again, we may find sellers up here and we may find a give up bar, and that's what we're getting here on bar 29. Bear bar closing on its low. It could be 2 legs down in an overall trading range and some sort of wedge bull flag here, testing support, the 18 close. But it looks like we're closing beyond that point, and I suspect we're going to go lower. Disappointing follow through and a deep pullback on 30, bull bar, but a big prominent tail and probably bulls looking to get out of their losing positions, disappointed with 29. Small doji bar and sideways on 31, probably going lower. Outside bar 32 and bear bar, probably sellers above, maybe buyers below. I'm overall more bearish. It looks like we're reversing from the moving average and channeling lower. 33, small bear bar, and 34, more follow through, possibly a small spike and channel pattern on a smaller time frame. We still have the possibility of a wedge bull flag here, but something's wrong with it. This doesn't look like trend resumption is going to come for the bulls. We do have a lot of buying pressure here, but it's mostly control over price and not a lot of control over time. I'd say the bears overall have much more control over time today so far, and this trading range has a bearish tone to it, so I suspect lower prices. We may find buyers here at the 21 high because it's a bad buy signal bar high, and whatever bulls are flat are probably feeling a fear of missing out from this rally and may look to buy down here or possibly at the low close, where disappointed bears probably sold 19 and disappointed with this may look to get out of their profits. And that's what creates a trading range. It's disappointed traders holding a losing position. 34, I suspect, will go lower. 35, good follow through, and 36, good follow through as well. But tails tells you that we may need to take profits and pull back. We're also testing the low close of 20 and the lows of 14 and 20. It looks like we may have made a lower low, and I suspect we'll go a little lower, but we're at the bottom of the overall trading range, possibly in some sort of bear channel, maybe going lower, but this doesn't look like the start of a strong bear trend. Therefore, we get a pause bar on 37, a doji, and then a reversal up on 38. Good bull bar, reasonable buy signal bar above this bar for a failed breakout of a trading range, and it's reasonable. The trading range could look something like this. We're testing the bottom and starting to reverse up, and that's reasonable. Today has a lot of trading range price action so far, so this is a reasonable buy. I just expected to have disappointing follow through. 39, nearly outside down, testing the low close and reversing up slightly, probably going a little bit lower, but probably disappointing follow through. Instead, a deep pullback in an inside bar and a bear bar, so minimal follow through, but not breaking out of anything. And then buyers below, we're reversing up, forming a bull reversal bar. Second entry long for the bulls, it's a high 2 at the bottom of a trading range, and that's reasonable, which is why we got 42. 42 allowed the early stop entry bulls to make 1 times their risk. Stop entry bulls should not be making more than 1 times their risk. They really shouldn't be making money at all in bear trends, so that tells you that we're probably in some sort of trading range or broad bear channel. Traders are able to make money in both directions if you buy low and sell high. 42 probably going higher. We broke out of this swing point and I suspect we'll pull back. Instead, it looks like traders scalped out and sold the close of 42. Now we have a big bear bar trying to break out of this trading range or this channel, and we may be going lower, but we have a prominent tail, and 43 is a climactic bar coming late in this sell-off at the bottom of a trading range. For that reason, whatever continuation we get, I suspect will be disappointing, which is why we get 44. 44 is the bull bar, closing near its high. We could be forming a small, tight trading range, so probably better to be flat and waiting for a clear breakout. 45, trying to get the breakout, but it's a small bar and we need follow-through. And so far, the follow-through is disappointing. It's a bear bar closing at its midpoint on 46. We could have a double top with 42, 45, but I suspect we're going to go higher and whatever sell-off we get to be disappointing. Buyers below 46, reversing up, creating an outside bar. Bull bar, probably going higher. And then 48, another stop entry and good entry bar for the bulls. 48 is a breakout bar and we need follow through. We're getting close to where bulls got trapped if they took the stop order on 32, so we may find resistance and hesitation here, which is only a couple of points above. Bear bar 49, but midpoint close. I suspect buyers below, and instead buyers at the close. 50 is turning up but failing to close above the prior bar, and we're channeling higher. It's 1, pullback 2, pullback maybe 3. We might go a little bit more up and I suspect we're going to hesitate here more. 51 looks like bulls are getting out of their losing positions, and we created a small gravestone doji, I think is what that's called. To me, this is a doji bar, and it's a bad sell signal bar. It'll probably trigger and be disappointing, which is what we got on 52. Bull bar, but tail tells you that we may find profit taking and need to go more sideways here. 53, bear bar, closing near its low. We're channeling higher, but the channel is weak, and I suspect we're going to go lower. Surprise bar on 54, traders bought the close of 53 and are trying to get a breakout, but we could double top with a high close on 26, and whatever disappointed bulls are left in the market may take profits up here, which is why we're getting 55. Strong bear inside bar, but prominent tail, probably buyers below, but we need a second leg down, in my opinion. Breakout pullback short, 56, closing on its low and closing below the last bull climax bar in this rally. Now the trading range looks pretty clearly defined. I think we're near the highs and we're going back down to the lows. Probably close to always in short, but we probably need one more bar, and that's what we get here on 57. So probably always in short and going lower, probably a pullback, but will be disappointing. 58 and then outside up 59, probably sellers above and instead sellers at the close. Second leg down from the sell-off on 55, probably going lower but may need to go more sideways. Good follow through 61, 62, losing momentum. We've got trapped bears that took the short on 46, maybe looking to get out of their losing positions, and that may cause hesitation in a rally. Instead 63, minimal follow through, and then outside down 64, but small bars channeling lower, spike and channel pattern. I suspect we're going to go lower. It's an overall trading range day in a bear environment after yesterday's sell climax, so I suspect lower prices. But disappointing follow through 65, bull bar, prominent tail testing the moving average and moving lower. It looks like the channel is well defined, the low of 59 and 63 and the high of 60 and 65. Breaking out of the channel 66, probably going lower, but maybe climactic and maybe 3 legs down. Bad follow through 67, but sellers at the close. Hesitation here, and we may find profit taking soon. We're getting close to the bottom of the range. 69, it looks like we're testing the low close on 43 and reversing up. It's a high one for the bulls near the bottom of a trading range, but a fairly small bar and may not be strong enough to reverse this bear trend. Good entry bar for the bulls, probably going higher, but we have trapped bulls on 65, so I expect bad follow through. And instead, we're getting good follow through. We have a strong 3-bar microchannel up, but it's a bit climactic. Bar 2 is bigger than bar 1, and bar 3 is bigger than bar 2. We're closing above the swing high on 65 and testing the top of the channel on 59, and I suspect we'll find hesitation here. Inside bar, bear bar 72, possibly going lower, but maybe buyers below. Could be a bigger second leg down from the sell-off on 55. Small pullback and then a big sell-off on 73, testing the bottom of the range. Maybe going lower, but now we're in a tight trading range near the bottom of an overall trading range. Outside up on 74, strong bull reversal bar, but bad context. There's not much to reverse. We're in a trading range, so there's probably sellers above this bar. 75, sellers above. 75 is closing near its low, but prominent tail. There may be buyers down here for a second leg up. We have an expanding triangle, maybe something like this. So I suspect bad follow through after 75. 76, good for the bears, but low in the range. And then climactic bar 77. More follow through 78, but deep pullback. We may find buyers down here. 79 starting to turn up and then sideways on 80. 81 closing on its low. So today we have a bear bar with a small tail on the top closing on its low. I suspect we're going to go lower. I suspect we'll gap down and we'll have disappointing follow through in the morning, probably rallying, forming some sort of double top or wedge top or trading range, and probably going lower or having another trading range day like this. Interesting day overall. I was trading the 3-minute chart today, and I did not have a very fulfilling day. I was faced with over trading and trading with a bigger position size than what I told myself I would do. So I'm breaking my rules, and therefore I had to stop trading. and I may not trade tomorrow as a consequence of these actions. And I need to journal about this and review my journal so that I can learn from my mistakes, because there were a lot of opportunities to take good trades today. And the trades that I did take today, I did not manage very well. And that speaks to the fact that I'm still a beginner and still learning. So anyway, that's the day overall, and thanks for watching.